The Misadventures of Elwood J. McFly, written by Bradbury and Emmy Janssen. This is part 3. The buzz around town. Raven's Pond was the local bug hangout, relaxing along the water's edge and sharing the latest gossip. Ladybug Molly was enjoying the sunshine as Elwood chatted about his recent adventures. Always putting yourself in harm's way, Molly said, shaking her head. I don't know how you live to tell them all. Elwood shrugged, although he knew she was right. What's that? Elwood whispered, spying a hornet's stinger nestled between two rocks. He picked it up and pointed his new pirate sword at Dragonfly Drake. Arg! Elwood shouted, unaware something was watching his every move. Bubbles were forming underwater, causing an unfamiliar sound. Elwood leaned closer for a better look. A large bullfrog leaped into the air, splashing pond scum in the fly's eyes before landing on a lily pad. Well, this can't be good, Elwood grumbled, blinking away the algae. In one swift motion, the bullfrog opened its mouth, releasing his ridiculously long tongue. He secured Elwood's foot in a firm grasp and pulled him back into the water. This is so much worse than not good, Elwood moaned. If the pond scum had not been slick, he may have been okay, but it was, and just like that, Elwood was gone. Elwood, croak. Can you believe he was inside the bullfrog? Baxter slashed his tongue side to side as Elwood smacked against the corners of his mouth. Not only did this hurt the poor fly, he also could not see a thing. The hornet's stinger! How could Elwood have forgotten? He had it with him before everything went black. It has to be here somewhere. Elwood used what energy he had left to find his weapon inside the dark cavern. He grabbed something sharp. Ouch! Elwood yelped. Here it is. Raising his stinger, he stabbed Baxter's thick tongue, anchoring himself from further slipping into the belly of the amphibian. Elwood escaped, holding his ears as Baxter's screams echoed across Raven's Pond. Phew, this has been a rough week, Elwood admitted, rubbing his head with his foot. I need a vacation. Flying home, the sun was shining directly in Elwood's eyes. He was having difficulty navigating his route and smashed into a tree before dropping on the forest floor. Maybe Elwood wasn't such a lucky insect after all. You have got to be kidding me, he said, annoyed. Elwood brushed a pine needle off his back and tried again. Lifting off, Elwood missed the bumblebee gathering flower nectar. He bumped right into him. Oops. Really not good. Sorry, Bumble, Elwood said, continuing on his way. Stop right there, Bumble snarled. Nobody knocks me down mid-flight. Elwood flew into the wrong bee. This was not a worker bee. This was the queen. I am trying to get home. Please let me go. Queenie swarmed him in fury. You're going to pay for what you did. Don't hurt me. It was an accident. You should have thought of that before crashing into me, snapped Queenie. The chase was on. Elwood was fast. Queenie was faster. Elwood was breathing hard. Queenie was not. Elwood wanted to take a break. Queenie was just getting started. She slammed into Elwood's side, piercing him with her stinger. Young McFly wailed in excruciating pain. Queenie crossed the line, and he was furious. He could feel Elwood's rage. He was ready to fight back. The fly charged at the bee until he hit her head with his own. She bounced backwards. This was Elwood's chance. He had to escape her path, and fast. There was an open window 20 feet ahead. He aimed for it. No, Elwood, not that window. Not again. Was he really back at Miss Peterson's house? He promised his mom he would not go back. He promised himself he would not go back so soon. But Elwood had no other choice. He needed to get inside that window. Elwood raced, knowing Queenie was right behind his wings. That was when he saw it, the dark shadow back into the light, the one who does not give second chances, none other than Miss Peterson. Admiring her flowers from the window, she spotted something coming towards her. Not just one, but two things. Nose pressed firmly against the glass, Miss Peterson's blood began to boil. She knew it was Elwood. She felt it deep in her bones. The fly who got away. Miss Peterson remembered him all right. Her gaze turned to see what was closely following Elwood. She noticed the bumblebee's stinger out, ready to strike. Good girl, Miss Peterson seethed. Get him for me. Locking eyes with Elwood, Miss Peterson gradually lowered her kitchen window. She waited until the last moment to turn the lock. Miss Peterson relished in what would happen soon. She even indulged in a bite of her cake. Miss Peterson really is cruel. Elwood was coming in too quickly to stop and change direction. He closed his eyes. He prepared for impact. He swallowed hard. Young McFly, never knew Horsefly Joe, was enjoying a drink from one of Miss Peterson's recently watered flower pots. Elwood's closest friend pushed him out of the way at the last second. Miss Peterson gagged in disbelief and lost her balance, falling face first into her chocolate dessert. The fly fell to the ground, flopping several times before slowing to a halt amongst the grass. Queenie wasn't that lucky. Her wings could not stop her. She rammed into the glass window with a splat. What will Queenie's workers do without her now? Joe rested alongside his hurt friend. I would not be here if it weren't for you. I can't thank you enough. You really are a good friend, Elwood said, beaming. So why were you at Miss Peterson's house anyway? I know better than to ever go into her house, but hey, when I'm thirsty, I'll go anywhere for a drink, Horsefly Joe laughed. Joe offered Elwood a ride home on his back since the sting had weakened him. He also helped Elwood into bed and laid 2 dry leaves on him for extra warmth. Then Joe patted his back, wishing his friend a good sleep before flying away. Elwood lay in bed thinking about this last week, the places he should not have been, the close calls, the misadventures, and how he managed to survive them all. He teared up. Hearing Elwood had come home, his mom went in to check on him. He struggled to sit up. Elwood J. McFly, why are you so weak? I'm better now, Elwood said sadly. This was a tough week for me, but I learned I still have some growing up to do. I was brave though, Mom. I was real brave. You would have been proud of me. Oh, Elwood, she said, hugging him. Your dad and I are very proud of you. Yes, you're young and have more to learn, and you'll continue to take risks and make mistakes. But you'll also grow because of them, and we'll be here after you have fallen to pick you up. Elwood, one day you'll understand more about the world you are a part of, where you should live, where you can play, who you can trust, which risks are ones actually worth taking. But you're not there yet, and it won't happen overnight. This stuff takes time, so let's learn together. Then his mom wrapped her wings around him, and Elwood knew life was as it should be.